So I get many, many questions about why my fearful avoidant ex looks at my social media. And in this video, I want to take you through 5 really common reasons fearful avoidance might be checking out your social media, liking pictures, obviously like kind of making their presence known there in some form or another. And we'll talk about the root causes and reasons for this and a little bit about what to do or not do. So the first reason, and FAs and DAs follow this sort of pattern alike, which is they're both operating a lot in their feelings minus fears. And they both have this side of fear that's connected to fear of commitment, fear of being trapped or helpless or powerless, fear of being stuck in a situation, fear of being trapped because they can't communicate their needs, fear of being taken advantage of, like these sorts of dynamics that tend to unfold. And so we'll often see as a result that fearful avoidance can have their feelings when they're in the relationship. And then the more those feelings evolve, the more those fears start to arise, because when they're really bonding, they really start to feel like, oh my gosh, this is for real. This is pretty serious. And that's where those fears can really get set off. And then when you see the relationship end and it becomes your ex, they don't have those fears setting off all the time, right? There's no fears of commitment because the relationship's over. And so they often have this kind of boomerang period that takes place where they get back into their feelings. And it's usually after a few weeks, because after a breakup, they tend to be able to repress their feelings and kind of numb out, using different creature comforts or things like that for a while. And then they eventually get into this space where they're like in their feelings. And this is where they might kind of like try to connect indirectly because those feelings have sort of come back online without the competition of the fears being there. So that's number one. Number two, they may not be over the relationship. They might have thought they were over the relationship when they were in their really strong avoidance side. And as they sort of like numb, as they stop numbing, and sort of come back around, they might be curious to see where you're at. They might be wondering, like, do you feel the same way? Are you having second thoughts about the breakup? Like, and so they're reaching out in some form because they're thinking of you, right? Now, I want to be really clear. I've seen this a lot with FAs and DAs both, where even though they reach out and they're thinking of you, it doesn't mean they're like ready to get back in a relationship if you do reconnect. So none of this information is me saying you should get back together with them. You should give it a shot. They're ready to get back together with you. It doesn't mean that. Just because somebody's missing you and curious about you doesn't necessarily mean they're ready to like try again. So there's a lot of these parallels where they're missing, they're thinking. You're going to see more of them in the next couple versions here, but it doesn't mean that, what I'm looking for, if I'm seeing the potential for a couple to get back together, is, are both parties showing up? Are both parties taking accountability for the past? Are both parties willing to have hard conversations to try to do different things this next time around? Are you both working on yourself and your triggers, and are you discussing them consciously and sharing your needs? And if you're not doing that, you're probably going to even go back into the same thing and have the same experience again and again, even if you're in a position where, you know, both parties are kind of reconnecting or feelings are still there. So, anyways, that's sort of a tangent, but I have other videos that talk about that on this channel. And also, I have a course you can check out for free on this. So you can check out the How to Repair Any Relationship course, and it helps you get to the bottom of like all the steps and tools we need to get off the rocks or to reconnect and get back into a relationship, but also how to tell if somebody's not going to put in the work with you. And sometimes repairing the relationship means making the relationship into a friendship, or having boundaries and just having this, like, it could be no contact for you if it's not a healthy relationship. It's like, what is the best version of this relationship for you, given the reality of the circumstances? And it helps you define that and get really clear on that. And then if somebody is willing to put in the work, how to like really use the tools to move the needle and create transformation and get the relationship onto a new track. So you can check that out for free for 7 days using the link below. But the next thing is that you may find that a fearful avoidant is reaching out because they're wondering how you're doing. Like, fearful avoidants tend to be really curious about other people and their feelings, and there can be this kind of curiosity. And so essentially they're trying to get their need met for certainty. And so they're willing to like reach out and make themselves known because that need for certainty and curiosity about where you're at and how you're doing is so strong. And that brings me to number 4, which they can also be doing that for the same reason. Like they may really want emotional connection from you. And it may not be romantic connection, it may just be emotional connection. Like, oh, there's a friendship here, or we had this big history, or let's see if we can be friends, and there could be, of course, like that romantic feeling and sexual connection there that they're looking for. But a lot of the time it's like certainty, emotional connection. And then of course there can be like romantic relationships, dating, that sort of thing that are on their mind. And so their subconscious mind is being drawn towards you as a means of getting those things met. And then last but not least, you may see fearful avoidance reaching out because they are trying to initiate without having to be vulnerable. So they're trying to really like initiate and put the ball in your court through making themselves known indirectly so that you can like reach out to them and be like, hey, and they're trying to like maybe reconnect without having to put themselves in like harm's way of the potential of rejection. So those are the 5 major reasons, the big ones that I see the most. And again, it's really important to keep in mind those prerequisites we talked about for what to do or know or look for if you're actually thinking of reconnecting. But hopefully, this gives you a little bit of certainty if you're wondering about what's going on. Let me know any other questions you have in the comments below in regards to, where you're at in a relationship, what your ex is doing on social media, if they're reaching out to you or not, or any other questions you have in general about that whole break up social media process that can take place, because I can definitely make more videos about that. And you can always check out those courses for free for 7 days below. And thank you so much for watching and for being here. Please like, share, and subscribe if you're enjoying this channel and this video and the content. And I will see you in future videos.